Hello, children. Again, I'll be here to bring you a past paper discussion. So hope all of you can remember last time that when you had the October monthly test paper that we had few past paper discussions videos. So then this time also I'll bring a few past papers for your January monthly test. So this is grade 6 January monthly test paper, 2022 January monthly test paper. Hope all of you can see the screen. Before moving to the discussion, as usual, I have few points to discuss with you. That the first of all, it's better that if you have completed this paper, by any chance, when you watch this video, if you have not watched the, if you have not done the paper, keep the video away, that keep it aside and don't watch it. You can do it. You can download it from your system. Then you can, if you have the printing facilities at home, you can take the printout, or that you can get your parents' support for that and complete the paper within the given time period, right? So after completing the paper, you take a pink color pen, then you can watch the video and mark your paper and see what are the things you want to improve after marking the paper. So that should be done before watching this video. The second thing that you can see a few blank points when you are starting the paper, you can see that you want to mention whether you are from 6A, 6B. So these things that you should complete, and they are very important, these information, and your name and the date you have the exam and your admission number. And that you can see the right side, a small rectangle, then it's about the marks allocation. Last time also I mentioned this, but by any chance, if you have missed the October monthly test past papers, I would like to explain this. So then out of 100, 5 marks will be there for your handwriting. That you may think that I'm going to get these 5 marks that if I have the round letters and that old, very beautiful handwriting. No. That here, that the teachers who are marking your papers, that they have a few concerns. Whether you have write your answers neatly, whether you have written your numbers and letters correctly, the accuracy of your numbers and letters, neatness of your paper, whether you have used the working column, and whether you have used the equation marks, that everything will be monitored, everything will be observed when that particular teacher is allocating marks, that out of 5, that how many marks that you will be getting based on all these things. Therefore, please pay your attention when you are writing the answers. And the third point I want to mention, the instructions. Sometimes you may think that we don't want to read the instructions because that every time they mention the same instructions. Dear children, don't think like that. That every year that we don't know what are the requirements set by the examiner. Therefore, that even though sometimes some of the points that they are that regularly you can see that in each paper, but still you have to read them. That is a must. Instructions to candidate. Here you want to answer all the questions and you want to show your workings and record your answers in the spaces provided in this paper. That I would like to bring that the third point. And some students I have noticed when I was marking the papers, I have noticed that they think that I want to do a nice work, and teachers are that they have the line papers in the exam hall. So why don't I use these papers and write my answers? Even though your answers are correct, children, that you're not allowed to that received all the marks because that you have not read the instructions, or else you have not adhered to the instructions they have given. Why? They have asked us to record our answers in the spaces provided in this paper. That is very important. So whatever the space you have, that you want to manage the space. For that, you should have a proper practice, children. That if you are planning to do this, that no, I can manage this one. So then on the exam day, no, that's not the way. That you want to get the printout and you just practice that how I'm going to manage the space. That's what that normally I request you to maintain a working column, right, in the right side corner, that I have explained this during my previous sessions also, that you can maintain a working column like this, right? Nicely, that you take your ruler and you can start your working column like this, and you draw the working column here. Sorry about that. I'm not using the ruler here. You can keep the ruler and nicely you can segregate this, whatever the workings you have, that if you don't have enough space with the question, you can do your workings in the working column and transfer your answer, right? Then we will look at the paper. So here you have the part 1, then you have part 2, right? You have part 2, that you have 2 parts, part 1 and part 2, but both parts you want to answer in the paper itself, right? So then that is the end of this paper. So then we will move to part 1, that I think in this video I'll be able to discuss only the part 1 due to the time that location, that then the second part I will discuss with another video, right? Part 1, question number 1. So these are very simple ones, children, and you want to know from which chapter they have given this question. That question, that Roman number 1, it is from chapter 1. I can say that because we did this kind of questions in chapter 1 also, but all the other sub questions, that they are from the directed numbers lesson, right? That if you find that these 3 questions are difficult for you before the exam, you can revise the topic directed numbers, where we are dealing with the positive integers and negative integers. Then we have learned how to add, how to subtract, multiply, divide the positive and negative integers, the directed numbers, right? The first one, I will write the answer. So then 3 plus 8, it is simple, that you know don't need to have the workings, that is 11, right? And the second one, children, when you have these kind of 2 signs with the brackets, that closer you have 2 signs, can you see? And here the negative and negative, right? Because you know that with the bracket, we do have the multiplication, right? So then we have learned that you multiply that negative something by a negative, then that should be positive, right? Therefore, this become positive. Then I will rewrite the question again, that -2 plus 2. Can you understand? Right? How it becomes +2, because the negative and negative, you have that. When you have that the 2 signs like this, children, definitely, first of all, you want to do this conversion. So the negative and negative, when you multiply, you will get a positive answer. So then this should be +2, -2 and +2, the answer will be 0, right? Again, so this one, that you can see positive and negative, that when you have positive and you multiply it by negative, and what will happen? That you will get the negative answer. So then here it is negative. So then I will rewrite the question, -3, -8. Now what you should do, children? So then you have -3, -8. What should be the answer? Can you remember that we have a rule? What it is? That when you have that the same sign, right? You want to add these numbers, 3 and 8, you add, it is 11, right? And what will be the sign? That negative sign. So this should be -11, right? Here that we will, that positive and negative, it is negative, and positive and negative, it is negative. Then I will rewrite the question, 3 minus 2 minus 3. Then 3 minus 2, what will be the answer? 1. 1 minus 3, what will be the answer? It is what? It is -2. I'll take it like this, that if you find that how teacher got this answer, that I'm not sure about the way she did it, I'll explain it like this, children. So first of all, you want to, and I'll bring few examples, then definitely you will learn this. Let's say you have that 5 plus 3 right? What is the answer? Positive 8. If you have -5, -3, what is the answer, children? It is -8. Now what happened? Here that even though they have not mentioned in front of that 5, that it is +5, right? So then you have +5, +3, that the same sign, and -5 and -3, you have the same sign. That when you have the same signs like this, it is not a multiplication, it is not a division, but you can see that +5 and +3, -5 and -3. So what you want to do, you want to add these numbers, that 5 and 3, that 5 and 3, that when you add them together, it is 8. And what will be the sign? That if you add in +5 and +3, the answer also will be positive. If it is -5 and -3, the answer will be -8. Now look at this. If you have 5 minus 3, that here it should be positive, no? So what will be the answer? You know this is positive 2. If I give you like this, children, -5, +3. Now what will be the answer? The earlier one, what you did, you had the different signs, +5 and -3. You had the different signs. So what you want to do, that earlier when you had the same sign, you add the numbers. And here that when you have the different signs, children, you get the difference of these numbers. 5 and 3, the difference is 2. And what will be the sign? That the sign, the higher digit, I'm not telling that the higher value, that it is the higher digit. When you take that the 5 and 3, that when we compare just the digit, the higher digit is that 5. So then you take that the +2. And look at the next example. Here you have -5 and +3. Again, you have the different signs, and you have the different sign, and you have what? That when you have the different signs, what you want to do? You want to get the difference of these numbers. 5 and 3, what is the difference? It is 2. And what will be the sign? From where you want to pick the sign, I told you that 3 and 5, when you compare the digits, what is the higher digit? It is 5. And here that 5 is a negative value. Therefore, my answer also will be negative value. Quickly, I will do another example. Try to understand this. So then if you have 10 plus 2, the answer will be 12. How it comes that the +10 and +2, the same sign, you want to add the numbers, and it is 12, then the answer will be +12. If you have -10 and -2, the answer will be again the same sign, right? So then what you want to do, same sign, 10 plus 2, 12, but this time the sign will be negative. Now you just look at this 10 minus 2, then what will be the answer? This is very simple, it is 8, but you want to understand what is the sign we do have in front of 10. Right? The positive and negative, you have the different signs. When you have the different signs, right? When you have the different signs, you want to get the difference. That 10 and 2, the difference is 8. And what will be the sign? I told you that when you compare the 2 and 10, children, the higher digit, it is 10. And what is the sign you can see in front of 10? It is positive. Therefore, your answer also will be positive. Then if I give that question like this, -10, +2, right? Now again, you have the negative and positive. Different signs you have. When you have the different signs, what you should do? You want to get the difference of these numbers. 10 and 2, what is the difference? 8. And what will be the sign? Negative. Why? That we can see the negative sign in front of 10. Hope it is clear for all of you. That still, if you have the doubts, children, that you can pause the video, that look at the screen, try to understand what's the pattern. If not, watch this part again, right? So this is that the directed numbers, addition and subtractions, right? So then the next one we want to learn about the multiplication and division. It's like this. If you multiply, right? Let's say if you multiply, sorry, the two positive numbers, your answer will be positive. If you multiply two negative numbers, your answer will be positive, right? You just see what I'm writing, then I will explain. That if you divide two positive numbers, right, your answer will be positive. And if you divide two negative numbers like this, your answer will be positive. Now, what is the theory we can learn here, children? What is the theory we can learn? So then you have the same sign, right? You have the same sign. So multiply or divide. What happened that always we get a positive answer, right? When we have that, we'll write it like this. When we have same sign, when we have the numbers with same signs to multiply or divide, it always we get a positive. What we get? That we get a positive answer, right? That I will bring you a few examples, then you can understand or you can make it clear. The first one, the example I bring children, so then you have, let's say 4 multiplied by 2. What will be the answer? 8. Why? That the positive 4 multiplied by positive 2. Question number 2, negative 4 multiplied by negative 2, still you get positive 8. 4 times 2, 8, and negative value, you multiply by negative value, you get the positive. Then the third one, I'm explaining you that 4 divided by 2, it is 2. And negative 4 divided by negative 2, it is positive 2. Now, can you understand that you multiply the same positive, or you multiply negative, you divide positive, you multiply the divide negative, that the same sign, and always you get the answer positive. That 4 times 2, 8, 4 times 2, 8, or 4 divided by 2, 2, 4 divided by 2, 2. That is the arithmetic portion, that when you are getting the sign, so this is how you want to get it, right? So then we'll see that when we have the different signs, what will happen, right? So then if you have positive value and you multiply it by negative, so the answer will be negative. If you have negative and positive, again, the answer is negative. Then you divide positive value by negative value. So then it is negative, and negative value you divide by positive, it is negative. So then what you can understand here, that when we have numbers, so then like earlier we can write when we have numbers with different signs, right? Signs to multiply or divide, what we should do, that always that we get a negative answer, right? Always we get a negative answer. So then we will discuss this with again few examples, right? With few examples. So you just look at this. 4 you multiply by negative 2, that it will give you the negative 8. Then negative 4 you multiply by 2, it is negative 8. Question number 3, then 4 divided by negative 2, it is negative 2. Then negative 4 you multiply by 2, it is negative 2. Right? That 4 times 2, 8. 4 divided by 2, 2. So that is there. But how I got the signs, right? So then you can understand here that you had 5 subtract negative 2. Now what happened, children? You want to understand here with the bracket, you have the multiplication here, that it is the hidden implication of this is negative multiplied by negative. What will be the answer? It will be positive. So then you can rewrite the question 5 plus 2. So then the answer is 7. The same way we'll say that 5 subtract, let's say positive 2. Now what happened? That again you have something like this, that the negative multiplied by positive, right? So then negative multiplied by positive, it is negative. So then the answer is 5 minus 2, the answer is 3. That hope it is clear for all of you that how you can do this kind of question, right? If there are that any questions or any doubts, that you can comment on this video that itself, then I will that clarify those doubts before the monthly test, right? So, okay, children, so we'll move to the next question in the paper, right? Okay, the second question. So you want to arrange the given numbers descending order and ascending order. I know that most of you, that you have the problem whether that ascending or descending, that if it is the ascending, from which number I want to start, whether it is the smallest one or the biggest one. So you want to understand that ascending, that you are climbing up, ascending, that means you want to start from the smallest one, right? And then you want that if it is the descending, it's going down, descending, you want to start from the biggest value. But the problem is here, they have given the positive values, negative values, 0 sometimes. So then you want to have a proper idea about the number line, right? Hope all of you have learned about the number line, but I will make it like this. The number line is something like this. And in the middle, we do have 0, right? Here that we have 0. And to this side, 1, 2, 3, and -1, -2, -3, -4, like this. So this side we have positive values, 4, 5. And to this side, we do have -1, -2, -3, -4. Children, you want to keep this in your mind when you are drawing the number line. The gaps between the numbers always should be same, that here there can be that the slight change because I didn't measure it or I didn't use the ruler. But when you're drawing your number line in your book or the paper, you want to use the ruler and make it clear. So then here you can find all the positive integers, right? That the positive values, right? Then here you can find all the negative values, okay? Then the negative values, to which direction the value is increasing, children? To which direction the value is increasing? To this direction, right? The value is increasing to this direction. Value is increasing. What does that mean? That when you are moving to the right side, right? When you are moving to the right side, the value will be increasing. I'll take a simple example like this, that if I have that the 4 and 5, which one will be bigger, children? That the 5 will be bigger because that it is to the right side of the on the number line. That if I take that the 4 and 3, let's say that if I take 4, sorry, children, that if you got any that kind of disconnection that I want to draw it again, I had a power failure that while I was doing, we'll see that how we can continue. Now that you can remember that the number line I drew, so it's like this. So this is 0, and here you have the positive values, and here you have the negative values, right? Then let's say here that we have -1 and -2, and here 1 and 2, children. I'll take this example. When you compare 1 and 2, you know that the 2 is bigger. When you compare 1 and 0, you know that 1 is bigger. When you compare 0 and negative 1, 0 is bigger. So then when you have negative 1 and negative 2, negative 1 should be bigger. So you want to understand this very well here, that when you take that the positive 1 and 2, right, 2 is bigger. But when you have negative 1 and 2, negative 1 is bigger. Keep that in your mind. That this is very important. So this is something that some students, that they are having the confusion that how to understand this. You want to understand that the negative numbers, if that particular number is closer to 0, so that is having the higher value, right? And the positive values, if it is far away from 0, that particular number will be higher value, right? So this is how you want to understand that the bigger number and the the smaller number. So then we will go to the question that ascending and descending. When you have this kind of question, I will explain you, children. First, segregate the positives and negative. You have negative 1 here, then negative 3, right? And in the middle, you have 0. This is not that the ascending or descending order. I'm just that the classifying them, the positive. Then you have positive 4 and 1 and 10, right? How many numbers we had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? That is done. What I did, I just segregated them, the positives, negatives, and 0. Then I want to find the biggest one, the descending order. So then I write this. The 10 will be the biggest one. Then out of the positives, then 4, then number 1, then 0. Then when you take negative 1 and negative 3, which will be the bigger one, children? Which will be the bigger one? The negative 1 and negative 3. Negative 1 will be bigger. Then negative 3 will be the last member of this group when we are arranging them in ascending order. By any chance, if they have asked us to arrange them in ascending order, you want to start from the smallest value, that is negative 3, then negative 1, so then 0, 1, 4, 10. That is how you want to arrange it, right? So then we will move to the next question. It is that again you do the same thing, that here that you don't want to segregate. They have done it for you. They have written the positive values first and the negative values then. The ascending order, you want to start from the smallest one. The smallest ones are the negative ones. Out of these two negative values, negative 12 and negative 18, when you have that, what will be the smallest value, children? That negative 18 will be smallest because it is that far away from 0. Right? It is not closer to 0 like 12, negative 12. Then you have negative 12, then positive 12 and 18. Okay, that is how you want to arrange these numbers in ascending order. But I will stop the video here because I'm not sure that whether it is clear for you after having my the power failure, that I want to cross check. Otherwise that I am doing it, that if it is not clear for you, that no point of doing this video. Therefore, I'll stop this video. Then the next one, the next part will be there from question number 3, right? So then I discuss the directed numbers, that how you can add them, subtract them, multiplication, division, and when you have the brackets, what we should do, that when we have two signs closer, how we can solve them, then what is the number line, and how we can arrange the positive numbers and negative numbers, how the value is changing on the number line. Then if you have a question like this, ascending order and descending order, what you want to do, ascending, it's going up, descending, it's going down, right? So you should have this knowledge when we are dealing with this kind of questions, right, children? So I'll stop the video and I will come back with another video to discuss from question number 3 onwards that we will consider this as the introductory video for 2022 January monthly test past paper, because I explained a few other points also apart from the questions. So you want to pay your attention for everything. Okay, children, keep in touch. I'll come back again from question number 3 onwards. See you, children.